Okay, so
Ako daw kung ito nga.
Sila.
Second sem, brain na nila na some
okay, so the topic for this afternoon is history of surgery. Okay, so why are we talking about the history of surgery? Sabi kasi ni Michael Crichton, if you don't know history, then you don't know anything. You are a leaf that doesn't know it is a part of a tree. Kilala niyo ba si Michael Crichton?
Yes.
Michael Crichton was a famous, siya was kasi he passed away na. No? So he's a famous author ng Jurassic Park. Saka yung ER na naging television series before, no? That launched the career of George Clooney. So Michael Crichton is actually also a doctor. Graduate siya ng, I think, Harvard Medical School yata. So yun ang sabi niya. So let's learn history. So what is surgery? Surgery is the branch of medicine that employs operations in the treatment of disease or injury. So when you say surgery, it can involve cutting, abrading, suturing, or otherwise physically changing body tissues and organs. The term surgery is taken from the Greek word chirurgia, which means care, which means hand, and ergon, which means work. No? So sabi nila, surgery daw is working, no? Using your hands, no? Or something that is done by using the hands. No? Kasi ganun naman surgeon, kamay talaga ang ginagamit. No? So that's the origin of the word surgery. So let's talk about the surgery in the ancient era. Okay, so the first surgical techniques were developed to treat injuries and traumas. No? Kung siyempre nung younger years na nanonood kayo ng cartoons, right? Yung Croods na panood nyo. Yun yung napanood, yung Croods na panood ko ngayon.
The Croods?
The Croods?
Yes.
The Croods, di ba?
Sama na.
Parang sila, Stone Age era sila, di ba? Ang gawa nila, di ba?
Mga sinaunang tao.
Hunt sila, mag-forage for food, pagkape, tago sila sa cave. No?
Bago ba rin na?
So siyempre, habang nag-forage sila ng food, nag-hunt sila, nagkaka-injury sila. Okay? So doon nalaman na meron silang ginagawa to take care of those injuries. So these are shown in a combination of archaeological and anthropological studies that show insights to man's early techniques. So they found out that the early men knows how to suture lacerations. They amputate limbs, they drain and cauterize open wounds. So ito yung mga evidences. No? It was parang na-unearth nila ito sa crude instruments that resemble operating instruments or okay? Ito naman siya, ano sa tingin niya ba, Turkish? They look like needles, no? Pero this is actually made of bone. No? So it means na siguro nagasuture na sila nung time na yun. And itong mga ants na ito, in certain tribes in South America, if may gaping wound sila, pinapakagat nila ang edge ng ant para mag-approximate yung edges. And then they cut off the body from the head. Okay, so para siyang modern day staplers na escape. Okay. So let's talk about the ancient Egyptians. So the early Egyptians are known to be good at first aid. They can reset dislocated joints. They can fix broken bones. And they're also known to know how to suture the wounds. Tapos yung mga archaeologists, they found stone carvings, okay, that shows surgical instruments, no? Just like this, no? Ito naman na kuha nila ito sa mga excavations nila. May mga surgical instruments na ganito. And also sa papyri, no, yung kanilang papel, may mga drawing doon describing surgery. Okay? So, I'll show you the evidence later. But the early Egyptians are not known to have ventured inside the body. So superficial lang sila. So these are the stone carvings found all over Egypt. If you look closely, di ba may mga surgical instrument, so parang scissor. Kita nyo? Okay? Ito naman, sa papyrus, no? Showing a certain procedure, no? I don't know if that's circumcision or whatever it is, no? And the same procedure is seen in stone carvings.
Again.
Okay? So next is Mesopotamia, no? Familiar kayo sa word? That's a pangalan, okay. So of course,
Code of Hammurabi.
Mesopotamia is an ancient civilization. It's not existing now. It's already gone, no? But the present day, its present day location is where Iraq is, no? Kasi Mesopotamia nasa between the rivers Tigris and Euphrates siya, no? So in long time ago sa Mesopotamia, may famous ruler by the name of Hammurabi. Okay? So Hammurabi or Hammurabi is known for his code of laws, no? And this code of laws of Hammurabi are the earliest known example of code announced to the public. Because yung mga codes na yun, no, parang rule yun siya, parang constitution, nakalagay siya sa mga, itong sa stone, steeples na ganito, or stone post, nakalagay dyan. And then nakalagay siya all over Mesopotamia, para makita ng tao anong rules, no? And this code of laws was famously known as the Code of Hammurabi. And it is known as the one of the earliest Babylonian Code of Laws. So the laws contain, it's around 282 laws. And then among those 282 laws, may kasama doon legislation that regulates surgeons and medical compensation, as well as malpractice and victim compensation. So itong itsura niya, no? So huwag natin pahirapan sarili natin, hindi natin maintindihan yan, no? So merong translation, no, sa Code of Hammurabi. Ito yung nakalagay. So if a physician make a large incision with an operating knife and cure it, or if he open a tumor over the eye with an operating knife and saves the eye, he shall receive 10 shekels in money. So this legislation speaks of compensation, right? If you go to the second line, if a physician makes a large incision with the operating knife and kill the patient, or open a tumor with the operating knife and cut out the eye, his hand shall be cut off. So, parang malpractice na siguro. So mabuti hindi tayo yung anak ng panahon ni Hammurabi. Marami siguro surgeon na walang mga kamay. So let's go to the ancient Greek. So the Greek, ang Greece, di ba? Composed of different islands siya, no? Kahit na isang country na siya, isang lugar na siya, but for some reason, they like to fight each other, right? So because of that, they are known to be very good in first aid. Just like the early Egyptians, they can set broken bones, so they can fix dislocated joints. But also like the early Egyptians, there is no evidence that they successfully operated inside the body. The early Greeks are known to be believers of the humoral theory. So what is the humoral theory? This is the belief that the body contains 4 humors. And what are these 4 humors? You have the blood, phlegm, black bile, and yellow bile. Okay, so that's the 4 humors: blood, phlegm, black bile, and yellow bile. And these 4 humors should be in balance. Dapat balance sila, no? So kung magkaroon ng imbalance sa 4 na humors, magkakasakit yung tao. Okay, so that's the belief. And even the famous Hippocrates, no, is a believer of this theory. Okay. A prominent character, no, or personality during the ancient era was Claudius Galenus. No? Claudius Galenus or Galen, no, is from Pergamon. Si Galen is an originator of the experimental methods in medical investigation. Marami siyang actually interest si Galen. And very famous siya sa kanyang teachings in anatomy. Kaya lang may problem yung teachings niya in anatomy. Because during the time of Galen, it was a taboo, no, or forbidden to dissect human bodies. So bawal mag-dissect ng human cadavers. So what he did was to dissect animals. Pag-dissect na ng animals, kung anong findings niya sa kanyang dissection, nire-relate niya or ina-announce niya or sinusulat niya as human anatomy. No? So, kunyari, nag-dissect siya ng heart ng baboon. Tuturo niya yun as ganito ang itsura ng heart ng tao. No? Kasi wala siyang choice, no? Bawal mag-dissect ng tao. Pero he was very popular, no? In fact, even many generations after his death, yung kanyang teachings anatomy, yun ang sinusunod ng mga physicians all over the world. Next is si Sushruta. Ito si Sushruta, actually, wala ito sa Bistol, no? Nakita ko lang ito siya, and I'm teaching IMD, so sinali ko ito siya. No? Happy naman sila, no? So, Sushruta is one of the earliest surgeons of recorded history, and he was believed to be the first individual to describe plastic surgery, no? Some would describe him as ano siya, parang siya yung pinakaunang modern surgeon, no? In some literature. And he has a book, no, a treatise named Sushruta Samhita, which is one of the oldest treatises dealing with surgery in the world. And I came sa internet, may nakita akong parang translation itong Sushruta Samhita. Para siyang manual ng pag-opera. Procedure paano ginagawa. And then yung mga procedures, rhinoplasty, no, pag-ayos ng eyelids. And then the description was very similar sa present day procedures na ginagamit ng plastic surgeon. So para siyang sa father of plastic surgery, no? Now let's talk about the early surgical procedures. What do you think is the earliest surgical procedure recorded in history? Wala pa sa kategory niya, wala nakalagay. Kunwari din dyan na yan. Okay, it's what? Correct? No, trepanation. No? Trepanation is also known as trepanning, trephination, trepanning, or burr-holing. No? So, ano yung procedure nito? Yung butasan na yung skull. No? And itong burr-holing, in fact, this procedure, no, it's known as the earliest procedure ever recorded in history. Pero until at present time, ginagawa pa rin ito ng mga neurosurgeons. No? So ginagawa ito siya because of the increase of intracranial pressure. Since the skull is a closed system, pag mag-increase ng, let's say may bleeding ka dun sa loob, or kasi di ba ano bang content ng nasa loob ng skull? You have the brain, what else? CSF, what else? Blood, okay, tatlo na yan. So any increase of any of those three contents mag-cause ng increase ng intracranial pressure kasi closed system siya, no? So for example, very common kahit sa present day neurosurgery, may bleeding sa loob. The pinakaunang ginagawa nila, no, is to burr a hole para ma-decompress yung increase of intracranial pressure. Okay? So yun yung ginagawa sa trepanation. And evidence has been found in prehistoric human remains from the Proto-Neolithic and the Neolithic times. It is shown in cave paintings, and it was described by ancient Greek writers, including Hippocrates. And hindi lang siya, yung time na yun, tinitreat siya, no? For many problems that they take, that arise from intracranial pressure, increase in cranial pressure. So ito yung mga evidences, no? These skulls are taken from sa caves, archaeological studies nila. It shows merong mga clean holes sa skull, no? Hindi siya parang pinukpok lang kasi nabutas. Okay, clean siya. In fact, ito square pa nga, no? And then, in some skulls, they noted that it shows na nag-practice yung mga gumagawa nito. May mga different sizes. And then there are even evidence of healing, no? Kasi may nakita sila ng evidence ng healing ridge, no? So siyempre hindi man mag-heal ang body kung patay na, di ba? So the presence of healing ridge around the edge of the skull is an evidence na yung ginawa no, nabuhay siya, no? Survived the procedure. This photo was taken, this illustration was taken from a medieval book showing different instruments, no, to perform trepanation. Okay? So trepanation yung pinakauna. So let's talk about the surgery in the early times. Okay, bloodletting. So you're familiar with bloodletting, right? Okay. So bloodletting began around 3,000 years ago, started with the Egyptian, then continued by the Greeks, the Romans, the Arabs, and the Asians. And during the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, it spread throughout Europe. And for almost 2,000 years, bloodletting is the most common procedure. Atan, no? So bakit siya naging sikat, no? Kasi bloodletting is one of the ways or the procedure to treat imbalance of four humors. Diba dapat balance daw yun? So kung may imbalance, dapat may gawin, no? So it was not only bloodletting that was being done, no? Other things that the procedures being done was purging, catharsis, and diuresis. Pero naging popular yung bloodletting kasi si Galen, no? Remember Galen? Okay. Galen declared blood as the most dominant of the four humors. So naging popular yung bloodletting. So when you say bloodletting, it is divided into two types, no? There's a generalized method and a localized method. Generalized method is one is venesection. You mag-make sila ng incision sa vein, no? And the most common vein that they use is the median cubital vein. Saan banda yun? Sa arm, di ba? No? So may ano. And then meron ring arteriotomy, no? So yung arteriotomy, they make an incision on the artery. Okay? So that's the generalized method. There is a localized method. Example is scarification with cupping. So as I understand this, no, siguro naghihiwa sila sa skin. Then parang nai-cup sila, no? Or suction cups pa para masak out yung blood. And the other one is by the use of leeches. Okay? So leeches is lita, right? So the leeches that they use is known as the medicinal leech, no? Particularly the Herudo medicinalis. So they use this, what do you call this? This type of leech, itong ganitong klase, because at every feeding, a leech can ingest about 5 to 10 ml of blood, no? Which is almost 10 times of its own weight. Okay? At present day, no, meron pa rin gumagamit ng leech, no? May mga plastic surgeon, pag magkaroon ng hematoma yung kanila surgery, ginagamitan nila ng leech. Isang out na leech yung hematoma. Wala na. No? So ito siya, taken from another old book which shows a lady, no, sitting next to a table, tapos merong jar ng leeches dyan. No? Siguro masama ang pakiramdam niya, kumuha siya ng 3 leeches, paano siya, pasak siya. Ito naman, ito siya, when they travel, no, they cannot leave their homes, no, kung wala silang dalang leech. So ito mga lalagyan ito, no? Lalagyan nila ang leech niya, no? Punta sila ng Hong Kong, dito. Punta sila, mag-travel sila, dala sila ng leech, no? Tapos ito naman, this is a newspaper advertisement. Okay? No? They sell, no, premium leeches. No? They advertise the sale of leeches. Next are barber surgeons. No? Are you familiar with the term barber surgeons? So, during that time, wala pa mga doctors talaga na educated sa medical school, right? So, pero merong mga university that train sila ng mga physicians. Kaya lang, after nagtapos ng training yung mga pumunta doon, pag tapos nila, feeling nila, they feel so highly of themselves. So, parang sa kanila, bet ako magbalik sa community. Doktor ako, di ba? So, instead, they prefer to go to the castles, to the palaces, and serve the royalties and the nobilities. So, yung mga tao yung common people, walang nag-retreat. So, sumikat ngayon yung mga barbers. Sila ang nag-act as physicians, no? So, the barbers perform enemas, they do bloodletting, they perform minor surgeries, they even pull teeth, no? Nagigit dentista rin sila. They sell medicines, and of course, kasi barber sila, they cut the hair, no? So kung yung mga physician nag-stay sila sa palaces, saan ang mga barbers nag-stay? So nag-stay sila inside or around the monastery, no? Kasi kung siyempre, kung free sila, punta sila sa community, no? Bakit sa monastery sila nag-stay? O kasi di ba, yung mga monks, kailangan nila magkaroon ng ganito, di ba? Ang hairstyle kasi sikat noon yung shaggy, di ba? Siya gilid lang yung buhok niya. So, shaggy star lang gusto. Siya gilid. So, siyempre, parito siya. Actually, hindi sila kalbo talaga, no? Talagang hairstyle yun, shaggy yung hairstyle nila. So, sino ang mag-maintain ng shaggy look nila? Yung mga barbers, di ba? Kaya sila sa monasteries. And then, the popularity of barbers, no, as physicians or as surgeons, grew to the point yung mga physicians trained in the university, parang nagano sila, naging envious sila. So nagkaroon ng gulo, no? So in 1540, King Henry VIII integrated the two groups. So he formed the Barber Surgeons Guild. So magkasama na sila. So this group, Barber Surgeons Guild, no, was together sila, no, for around 200 years until it was dissolved in 1745. So yung surgeons, ay yung barbers, balik na sila sa pagiging barbers, no? Pero siyempre meron silang iniwang remembrance sa atin, no? If you pass by a barber shop, may makita kayong pole na ito. Sabi nila yung pole daw yan represents the bloodletting rod that the patient used during bloodletting. The white stripes represents the bandage. The red stripes represent the blood. And the blue stripe represent the vein. No? So para memory daw siya na naging surgeons din kami nung araw. So I started my lecture with the prehistoric era until the barber surgeons. But it was only in the 19th century that the surgeon truly emerged as a specialist within the whole arena of medicine. No, hindi siya accepted kagad. In fact, in the mid-19th century, lagging behind pa rin ang surgery sa medicine. Okay? And the practice of surgery was severely restricted. And it was only in the 20th century that surgery could be considered to have achieved the status of a bona fide profession. So bakit masyadong matagal? Dahil natagalan siya maging accepted. If you are told to see a surgeon, ano ba yung mga apprehensions nyo? Operations. So what about operations?
Sige na may number na.
But so what kung may operation? Ano bang worry nyo doon? Infection, correct, no? Kasi I haven't mentioned yet about anything about antibiotics, right? What else? Pain.
Legit.
Di ba? Kasi kung surgery,
Established.
magkaroon ng hiwa yan, no? Kasi I never mentioned anything about anesthesia. Okay? So, isa pa, bleeding. Di ba? So, sabi nila is that there were 4, no, clinical prerequisites bago na accept ang surgery, no, as a profession. First is knowledge of human anatomy, no, kasi before based on animal dissection, yung Galen, di ba? Second, method of controlling hemorrhage and maintaining intraoperative hemostasis. Third is anesthesia to permit the performance of pain-free procedures. And 4, explanation of the nature of infection along with the elaboration of methods necessary to achieve antiseptic and aseptic operating room environment. So dapat masatisfy yung 4 na prerequisites. So Andreas Vesalius, also known as, another name niya is Andries van Diesel, no? A Brussels-born physician. He went to University of Padua. And lucky for Vesalius, hindi na tabu mag-dissect sa human caliber. Okay? So University of Padua, tao yung dinadissect nila, no? So in fact, no, Vesalius said that human anatomy could only be learned through the study of structures revealed by human dissection. So in 1543, he came out with a book called the De Humani Corporis Fabrica Libri Septem, or the 7 books on the structure of the human body. And this book by Vesalius was regarded as the first truly scientific and anatomical textbook in medical history. So sa book niya na yun, marami siyang mga findings na salungat sa mga tinuro ni Galen. Okay? And since Galen was very popular, it took time, no? Na i-accept ng mga tao ang mga teachings ni Galen. Kasi marami silang kaibahan. Okay? And okay, this is these are photos, illustrations sa book ni Visalius, no? Tingnan yung itsura ng tao dito, no? Kung ano talaga, dissection na kayo sa anatomy, di ba? So ganito talaga itsura, no? So I don't know how Galen, no, portrayed yung kanyang tao, pero ito yung kay Visalius, no? Next is Ambro Paré, no? So Paré is a royal surgeon, no? Royal surgeon siya kasi 4 kings ang sinerve niya, no? And Paré is also a part of the Barber Surgeons Guild of Paris. Now in 1536, he joined the French army. So bunda sa gera, no? The practice then was, kung merong sugat, i-cauterize siya, pinulugan ng burning oil. Unfortunately for Paré, or probably fortunately, naubusan ng burning oil. And then ayaw niya rin yung idea of putting that burning oil. So gumawa siya ng tincture composed of egg yolk, turpentine, and oil process. And yung outcome ng mga sugat na nilagyan niya mas maganda, no, kaysa sa burning oil. So, yun, no? Tapos, minsan din, ginagawa nila, kunyari, i-cauterize nila yung limb na naputo sa gera, ang ginagawa is sinusunog yung limb, no? Or tinatali ang the whole limb, no? So, Paré also rejected that and instead, gusto niya talagang i-identify, no? Hanapin yung leader, yung artery na gakos and ligate yun, no? Just like what we do at present day. So, yun yung legacy ni Paré. Okay? So, the first prerequisite was satisfied by Vesalius, and the second was satisfied by Paré. Next is anesthesia. No? So this is an old painting that shows a person, no, whose leg is about to be amputated. Mukhang happy ba siya? Mukhang hindi, no? So you can see the horror, no, in his face, no? And people are there to hold him down, no? Tapos itong dalawa, marites lang yan. So yun yung status before, no? Nung wala pang anesthesia. And of course, you can just imagine, sino ang magtanggap, sino ang mag-welcome ng surgery kung walang anesthesia, right? So even the British or the English surgeon, John Hunter, even defined surgery as a humiliating spectacle of the futility of science. And he even called his fellow surgeons as savage armed with a knife. No? Kasi talagang savage siya, no? Pero mo, sigaw-sigaw lang yung pasyente, walang anesthesia. And this one is taken from the diary of Fanny Burney, a American woman, no? Underwent siya ng mastectomy without anesthesia. So sinabi niya, I needed no injunction not to restrain my cries. I began a scream that lasted unintermittingly during the whole time of the incision. No? Sabi niya dito, ma-feel niya daw ang dreadful steel cutting through veins, arteries, flesh, and nerves. So ganun kasakit, no? So before, pag may inoperahan, ganito yung operating table. Para siyang torture chamber. Ginabahin nila doon kasi magtakbo yung pasyente, no? bago pa mag-start. And for those, no, nag-underwent ng procedure, many of them, they bled to death, no, dito sa chair na ito. Okay? And siyempre later on, nag-evolve ng operating table, naging ganito. Kasi ito na yung present day, no? So walang anesthesia, no? So that's one of the reasons bakit nag-lag behind ang surgery. So in 1830s, eastern part of the United States, yung mga chemists there, the chemists there, no, in that area were making a killing. No? They go from one town to the other. They sell chloroform, ether, and nitrous oxide. Okay? Bakit nila binibenta ito, no? Yung mga tao doon, no? Yung mga affluent, yung mayayaman ng mga tao sa areas na yun, mahilig sila mag-party. No? So even during that time, uso na pala yung party drugs sa kanila. Okay? So yung party drugs nila are these chloroform, ether, and nitrous oxide. And they want to inhale this, no? Inhale this, na nakabag siya, Kasi pag inhale nila, yung inhibitions nila mawala. Yung mahiyain, hindi na sila nahihiya. Tapos when they move, parang may mga funny movements na hindi, that's beyond their control. And they had fun. Kaya lang, ang iba sa kanila mag-pass out. Pag-gising, may mga sugat sa ulo, sa mukha. And they don't remember anything. They didn't feel the pain. Okay? So, doon sila nagka-idea, no? Napakait itong mga gases that they use in the laughing gas parties and ether chlorate, itong chloroform ether and nitrous oxide, can be used as anesthesia, no, for surgery. So, in October 16, 1846, William Morton, I think dentist ito siya from Boston, no? Collaborated with John Collins Warren. Warren is a surgeon and a professor of surgery in the Massachusetts General Hospital. And they, may patients na may bukol sa, I think sa neck, no? May mass. And then sabi ni Morton, operahan siya ni Warren, magbigay ng anesthesia si Morton, no? Using sulfuric ether. Okay? And this occasion was known as the first public demonstration of the use of anesthesia. Okay? And at that time, akala nila yun ang first time na anesthesia was used in surgery. So itong painting, no, showing Morton, no, administering the sulfuric ether. This is the actual flask that was where the sulfuric ether was placed. And this is the photo showing that momentous occasion. This is the patient. John Collins Warren is here and Morton is here, no? And public demonstration siya kasi itong side na ito, puro tao ito nanonood, no? And this area is known as the Ether Dome, no? Nasa pag-aalam ko, nasa Massachusetts General Hospital pa rin siya. No? So, yun yung regarded nila as the first time na anesthesia was used in surgery, no? And of course, and it was also done publicly, so it's the first public demonstration of the use of anesthesia. Pero hindi nila alam na much earlier, Crawford Williamson Long, an American surgeon and pharmacist, has been using, no, ether as anesthesia since March 30, 1842. So nagkaroon pa ng parang conflict kung sino talaga nauna. No? So actually, it was si Long ang nauna. Next is Joseph Lister, no, an English surgeon. And very rampant ang incidence ng infection, no? Na pag after yung operative bone, nag-infect siya most often than not, no? And Lister, no, wants to find a solution. And it was evident to Lister na hindi naman pwedeng sunugin yung pasyente para magiging antiseptic lang siya. So he decided to use chemical antisepsis. So he tried many chemicals and then finally settled with carbolic acid, no? Which is now known as phenol. So try ni Lister gamitin niyo siya pang wash ng kamay, saka pang ginamit niya iting sa sutures. And then the outcome was dramatic. Bumaba yung incidence ng wound infection. So this discovery by Joseph Lister inspired, no, many people to pursue, no, more ways or to come up with many ways to achieve antisepsis and asepsis. No. One of them was Charles Chamberlain, who in 1881 invented the steam sterilizer known as the autoclave. Itong autoclave is to they use heat sterilization. Doon ginalagay yung mga aprons, instruments, drapes, no, para sterilize. Actually, itong autoclave, no, still, if you go to any hospital, meron silang autoclave. Pero syempre, hindi na ganito itsura, no? Pero meron pa rin sila, autoclave pa rin ang tawag. As before, when they operate, they don't have gloves, no? They wash lang hands, no? In fact, ayaw mag-wash ng hands. Yung iba naman, yung gusto nila mapababa yung infection, they wash their hands with chemicals. Okay? Carbolic acid, mga ganun. Kaya lang, in 1890, si William Halstead, okay, requested the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. Nagawan sila ng rubber gloves. Kasi yung kanyang assistant nurse niya, yung scrub nurse niya, nag-allergy sa chemical. So gumawa ang Goodyear ng 2 pairs of gloves. Nung nakita ni Halstead na okay naman ang result, nagpagawa siya for the whole team. And soon, lahat sa buong hospital, Johns Hopkins, kasi ito si William Halstead, one of the founding fathers of Johns Hopkins. No? So the whole hospital is using it, then the next neighbor hospitals, and then spread yung use ng surgical gloves. Okay, kaya lucky tayo, no? Nag-dissect tayo ng cadavers, may gloves. No? When I was a medical student, for some reason, yung aming anatomy teacher, ayaw nila maggamit kami ng gloves. Kaya, kamay lang ginagamit namin. No? So, meron siyang pros and cons na time, no? Ang cons niya is yung girlfriend ko the time, ayaw makipag-hawak ng kamay ko kasi mabaho. Pero sa basketball, lagi kami nanalo. No? So, pag inidepensa namin yung kalaban, i-irritate sila kasi mabaho yung mga kamay namin. Pero ganun, ano po, sabi ng aming teacher, mas ma-feel mo daw yung structures mo wala kang gloves. No? Pero of course, sabi mas safe, dapat may surgical gloves. So, third prerequisites, satisfied, and the fourth. Okay, so beto na yung apat. So this led to the ascent of scientific surgery. The prominent character there was William Stewart Halstead. No? So Halstead is one of the founding fathers of Johns Hopkins, no, in Baltimore. And if you see John Halstead, hindi siya satisfied na matuto lang maging surgeon yung isang tao, isang doktor. He wanted to introduce a new brand of surgery, no? A surgeon that is adept in research based on anatomic, pathologic, and physiologic principles. So gusto niya mag-produce ng surgeons of the highest type. So because of this, no, gumawa siya ng different system. So in Johns Hopkins, ginawa niya itong School of Surgery. And then that School of Surgery is regarded as the first ever formal residency training in surgery sa Johns Hopkins. Okay? So other things na ginawa ni Halstead is a pioneer in modern surgical principles and developed sophisticated operative procedures, no, with outstanding results. He pioneered treatments for breast cancer, hernias, and gallstones. He was the first to perform the first radical mastectomy for breast cancer in the U.S. He introduced the use of latex surgical gloves, and he is famous for his tenets. Tenets or principles. No? So what are the principles or tenets of Halstead? Ito yung, kahit na mag-clerkship na kayo, mag-residency kayo, still applicable in principles of Halstead. So ano yan? No? So, handle tissues gently, achieve meticulous hemostasis, preserve vascularity, ensure strict asepsis, close the wound without tension, achieve good approximation of tissues, and avoid dead space. Kung mag-start na kayo ng suturing ng wound, no? Always think of these tenets of Halstead, no? Kasi applicable yan sa how you handle the wound, no? Dapat follow nyo yan. And going back to the School of Surgery of Halstead, no? Marami siya mga naging product na naging magaling, no? Naging sikat. Nandun si Harvey Cushing, no? And also part of that training, I was able to visit Johns Hopkins last year. No? Kung maalala niyo siya, no? Kaya mo sa yung pangalan niya. Isang surgeon nag-start ng operation sa Tetralogy of Fallot. Si Tolsik and Blaylock, no? Si Blaylock, nandun din siya. Nandun din si Blaylock sa, Johns Hopkins, saka si Tolsik, no? So kung mapunta ko doon sa Johns Hopkins, may building doon na pangalan, Halstead, meron rin Blaylock. No? So maraming mga sikat doon sa Johns Hopkins. So the ascent of surgery, no? What are the highlights? Internationalization. So in 1924, Halstead, no, came up with an idea together with Hermann Kapner, a German surgeon, naisip kasi nila, no? Sabi kasi ni Halsted, he believed that young surgeons can achieve greater clinical maturity by observing the practice of surgery in other countries. So nag-agree si Halsted and si Kuttner na mag-exchange ng resident. So yung resident ni Halsted, pinadala niya sa Germany, sa Breslau. Yung residents naman ni Kuttner, pinadala niya sa Baltimore. no? So yun, internationalization. And then, also the highlight is that formation of surgical societies, both national and international. Yung early part ng development ng surgery, pag meron silang na-discover na new techniques or new ideas, usually they kept it to themselves. But during this era of scientific surgery, naging less selfish na sila, less greedy. They want to share their new knowledge, their new information, their new ideas. So nag-form sila ng mga surgical societies. And they even think na siguro mas maganda pa, mas marami pang matuto o mas share natin yung knowledge natin, magawa tayo ng periodicals. May mga publications sila. No? So, one of the earliest was the Académie Royale Chirurgie in Paris, and its publication is the Memoir, which appeared sporadically from 1743 to 1838. You also have the Société de Chirurgie of Paris in 1847 with its publication bulletins. And you have the American Surgical Association, founded in 1883 with its publication Transactions. And ito yung mga monthly journals during that time, no? Many of these journals are now no longer in existence, no? But Annals of Surgery, I think it's still being published. So journal itong Annals of Surgery. So maganda na sana yung development ng Ascent of Surgery, then biglang nagka-World War. Okay? So medyo na-hold siya ng pagka-World War, nung World War na, pero meron pa rin nag-gain ang surgery. Diba yung World War I, di ba kung napanood mo yung 1917 na movie, yung Wonder Woman din, di ba? Di ba sa field ng gera may mga trenches. No? Minsan may mga baka pa, di ba? So itong mga field nila, very rich ang kanilang soil, rich with microorganisms. So when soldiers get injured in the battlefield, usually nagkakaroon sila ng infection, nagkakasepsis. So yun yung isa sa gain ng surgery sa World War I, no? Kasi ito si Alexis Carrel, together with Henry Dakin, developed a method of treating wounds based on chlorine. No? That solution is known as the Carrel-Dakin solution. No? But if you go to your clinics later on, sa SPMC lagi nila ginagamit, no? Pero they call it a Dakin solution na lang. Pero ang original na name nito is Carrel-Dakin solution. Ito yung halong Clorox or Zonrox. No? And very good siya sa mga infected wound na yung mababaho. Okay. So, Alexis Carrel. On a side note, no, ito si Carrel, nanalo ito siya ng Nobel Prize, no? Kasi, ano siya, cardiac surgeon. Nakadevelop siya ng technique, no, in suturing blood vessels in cardiac surgery, known as triangulation technique. So, ito yung side story ni Carrel. So, other advances during the World War, siyempre, gera sa countryside. Pag may mga injured na soldiers na kailangan i-x-ray, dalhin pa sila sa city. So, it took time. So, Marie Curie, the Madame Curie of the radium fame, suggested na why don't we bring the x-ray to the battlefield? So they equipped small cars like this, that they called Little Curie. They equipped this with x-ray machines, and these are brought to the battlefield. So parang mobile x-ray, mga mobile x-rays. Another major advance during the World War is that the ability to store blood. Kasi kailangan nila mag-transfuse ng blood sa mga wounded soldiers. So doon na-develop during the World War. Next is the modern era. Okay, so highlights of the modern era was educational reforms, no? And diba, I mentioned about the creation of medical schools and surgical residency training. And there's other highlights is the progress of surgical instrumentation and surgical techniques. So by the end of World War II, essentially all organs and areas of the body have been fully explored. So hindi na siya nag-lag behind. No? So the challenge during this time is the ability to diagnose surgical diseases at an early stage, to be able to locate malignant growths where they remain small, and to come up with most effective post-operative treatments so that patients could survive even more technically complex operations. So ang nandito one of the famous character during that time was Allen Goldfather Whipple. Okay, so in 1935, Allen Whipple introduced pancreaticoduodenectomy for the surgical treatment of the cancer of the pancreas. So this pancreaticoduodenectomy, this technique is still being used now, but it is more famous by its name, Whipple's procedure. Instead of pancreaticoduodenectomy, which is the official name of the procedure, it is more popularly known as the Whipple procedure, named after the person who developed the technique. Frank Leahy stressed the importance of identifying the recurrent laryngeal nerve during the course of thyroid surgery. Why do you need to identify the recurrent laryngeal nerve? So, para hindi mo siya maputol, no? Anong mangyari pag maputol mo siya? Hoarseness, no? Hoarseness kung ano? One side or two sides?
One side.
Hoarseness kung one side. Maputol mo yung dalawa, ano ba ang sinusupply ng recurrent laryngeal nerve? Kung maputol mo yung dalawa, magkakaroon ng respiratory distress yung patient. Okay? So pag isa lang, magkakaroon ng hoarseness. Max Pitt specialized in the subtemporal section of the trigeminal nerve for thick Buluru, and he developed bilateral supradiaphragmatic sympathectomy for hypertension. Walter Dundee performed the intracranial section of various cranial nerves in 1920. Narinig yung term Dundee-Walker syndrome?
Yes.
Ito siya si Dundee. Harvey Cushing, is one of the product of the School of Surgery of Halsted. Introduced electrocoagulation in neurosurgery in 1928. He was regarded as the father of neurosurgery together with Ernest Sachs. He was the first person to describe Cushing's disease, and he introduced blood pressure as a vital sign in the United States. Earl Padgett in 1939 devised an operative dermatome that allowed calibration of thickness of skin grafts. And then at the time, they realized that it is impossible for any single surgeon to master all the manual skills and all the knowledge necessary to perform all the cases. So nagiging thrust was specialization. Okay? So specialization is the most significant and dominating event in the 20th century surgery. So in my next few slides nito are all specialists, mga cardiac surgeons, ito mga next person ang gusto dito. Dwight Harken was able to remove bullets and shrapnel from the heart with no single fatality. He was an innovator in heart surgery. He corrected mitral stenosis. He was the one who made the cardiac implant, known as the first internal pacemaker. And Dwight Harken introduced the concept of the intensive care unit or the ICU in 1951. John Gibbon, John Gibbon invented a very significant machine. Prior to the invention of this machine by John Gibbon in 1953, all the open heart surgeries ended up in failure. Patay yung pasyente. But when John Gibbon invented the heart lung machine, okay, they achieved success in open heart surgery, and this paved the way for all future cardiac surgery. So ano yung heart lung machine? Nakita na kayo ng heart lung machine? Ito yung tsura niya. Of course, siguro old model ito. So, di ba sa open heart surgery, yan, may problema ang heart, operahan nila. Unlike the car, di ba ang car, pag ayusin siya ng mekaniko, pinapatay niya ang makina, di ba? So para maayos siya, no? Kung naka-on ang makina, delikado siya, di ba? But sa heart, hindi mo pwedeng i-stop ang heart ang maoperahan mo. But otherwise, mamatay yung patient. So the heart should be pumping. So itong heart ng machine, during heart surgery, it is to serve as the heart and the lung of the patient. So tuloy yung circulation. Pero yung heart, hindi na siya nagka-pump. Pero tuloy, buhay pa rin yung pasyente na nag-ikot. So pwede na operahan yung heart. So ganito yung heart lung machine. No? Kita mo may blood nagkapasok din sa machine. So ito yung perfusionist na siya nag-handa niya. Okay. Michael DeBakey, he pioneered the use of Dacron drops to replace or repair blood vessels. He invented the roller pump. He developed ventricular assist devices. And he was among the first to perform a coronary artery bypass and carotid endarterectomy. So Michael DeBakey created an early version of what became the Mobile Army Surgical Hospital or the MASH unit. So ano ba itong MASH unit? No? Ito makeshift hospital siya. No? Kasi may mga certain injuries sa mga sundalo na pag i-airlift mo pa siya ng badalhin mo siya sa hospital, baka mamatay na siya. So, itong MASH unit is parang operating room siya, na doon na siya inaoperahan. Okay? So ito yung luma na MASH unit, ito yung modern. So other highlights of the 20th century, Herman Pfannenstiel described his technique for a suprapubic surgical incision. Ito yung natawag nilang, di ba meron mga iba na mag-undergo sila. Common ito sa OB. Nyali magpa-opera ng CS. Sabi niya ng OB lahat. Tanang pasyente ito, gusto ko mag-2-piece, maka-2-piece pa rin ako after na mga anak. So siyempre, pag yung usual na incision, maglabas sa bikini, di ba? Itong Pfannenstiel transverse incision, ito siya, ng suprapubic. So kahit naka-bikini ka, hindi pa rin makita, no? So ito yung Pfannenstiel incision, very popular sa OB. Unless siguro ang bikini mo hanggang dito sa taas, so pwede yung the usual, no? So si William Mayo, okay, presented a new technique on partial gastrectomy. William Mayo is one of the founders of Mayo Clinic. John Feeney is a protege of William Halsted. He introduced new method of gastroduodenostomy, okay, and he's the founder and the first president of the American College of Surgeons. Ito yung present day na society nila sa US, ACS. Sa Philippines, it's PCS. Gaya-gaya ito yung mga Pilipino. No? Philippine College of Surgeons. Yung ACS is American College of Surgeons. Jose Goyanes used vein grafts to restore arterial flow. And if you look at if you read the chapter na marami pa ibang mga personalities to. Present day, okay, it's all about technology. No? Usually, ang uso ngayon is laparoscopic surgery. Encounter nyo laparoscopic surgery? So, laparoscopic surgery is known as minimally invasive surgery, keyhole surgery, no? Ang tawag ng iba kasi ang size ng hiwa is parang keyhole ang kalaki. Band-aid surgery kasi literally you can just put band-aid over the wound, no? But of course, itong minimally invasive surgery maraming klase. Pag colon surgery, medyo malaki ang hiwa.
After.
No? Pero yung iba, pwede maliliit.
Karanda yun?
So what is being done? Itong illustration nito, dalawa ito, open cholecystectomy, no? The removal of gallbladder. Pag open siya, malaking hiwa. Pag laparoscopic, marami kang incision pero maliliit. No? So the advantage of minimally invasive surgery is easier return to work. Kasi less unpaid, mas madali mga. So what is being done? You make an incision, you insufflate, no, the abdomen with gas. No? So usually ginagamit ng carbon dioxide. So mag-insufflate ka ng gas kasi to lift the abdominal wall para meron kang operating space. Then you make several other incisions, lagay mo doon yung mga trocar sa mga instrument mo. So ganito itsura niya. Okay? So from this laparoscopic surgery, nagkaroon ng mga evolution, iba-ibang techniques, no? Ang aim nila is mas less pa talaga ang hiwa, no? So merong SILS or single incision laparoscopic surgery. So isang hiwa lang kanilang ginagawa, no? So itong photo nito, no, I was part of this surgery. Ito siya, I don't know what happened to this technology. Pero yung South American surgeon, ginawa nila sa sarili niyang garage itong pula nito, ito sa magnet.
Sasagani.
So, ginawa niya, single incision lang, tapos may mga, ano siya, parang bulldog club na ilagkabat. Kasi sa gallbladder surgery, yung pundos, i-lift mo eh. Tapos, ilagay niya doon, tapos ang mag-control nun, instead na instrument, yung magnet na magalaw-galaw. So, I don't know kung na-meet ko siya, nag-scrub ako sa surgery niya, pero I don't know what happened to this technology. So ito naman siya, ito yung nilalagay sa instrument. Tapos itong tropas, takto ito siya, pwede ka maglagay dyan. No? Meron yung iba, nag-try sila ng walang mga ganito. So maraming klase. Kasi ngayon, meron yung iba, gusto talaga nila walang hiwa, walang sugat. So is that possible? How?
Laser.
Ano yun? So merong isa, no, yung tawag nilang NOES, no? Which is Natural Orifice Transluminal Endoscopic Surgery or NOES. Okay? So ang ibig sabihin niya, no, this is minimally invasive surgery. They make use of natural orifice or natural opening. So ano yung mga opening na natural? Mouth, urethra, siyempre marumi, pero rectum, vagina, no? So ito yung notes, no? Yung when I had my fellowship training, meron akong junior fellow na surgeon sa Mexico, no? So pinanto niya sa akin, meron silang patient at bikini model. Yun ang kanyang
Ito, ibutas to.
nagkaroon ngayon ng appendicitis. So kung acute appendicitis, operahan mo, di ba? So pag opera mo dito, siyempre, magkaroon siya ng scar. Sabi niya, I cannot afford to have a scar kasi yun ang kanyang live bikini model. So, they operated on the bikini model. And then at the end, happy naman sila lahat. No? Kasi the surgery was done successfully. And walang scar, walang incision. No? Ginawa nilang appendix to the vagina. Doon nila pinadaan ng vagina. So that's sample of
Liposuction surgery ko din.
natural orifice transluminal endoscopic surgery. Next is robotic surgery. No? I'm sure you have heard of robotic surgery.
Malay po.
So robotic surgery, no? This is the components of robotic surgery. You have the console where the surgeon, no, operates. Main surgeon po lang siya. At tapos ito yung robotic arm.
Fats lang mo
This is
din
the patient. Ito ang kanyang assistant. No, ang trabaho ng assistant is maglagay ng instrument. So laparoscopic
Pila ko,
surgery
isa na sa
na,
tambal
that's a
na
laser
yun.
robot. So, ang advantage niya sa
Statin.
over laparoscopic surgery kasi ang movement ng laparoscopic surgery forward, backward, side, side. No? Ito siya meron kang 7 freedom of movement. So, maganda din sa robotic surgery kasi meron akong training during my fellowship. Pag i-suture mo siya, pag move mo ng kamay, ano siya, i-follow ng robot yung movement.
Ayun mo,
So,
nakita ko na yung mga
robotic surgery,
nakakonect
ang
pero
problema ng robotic
naganahan
surgery,
na lang
very
sila.
expensive siya.
Ganun
Kasi
sila
when I was
dali.
there, I had my training in 2008-2009. Ang sabi nung nag-distribute nitong robot, 20 million na daw yun at the time. 20 million po. 20 million pesos, $20 million. That's correct. So very expensive siya. Pero known siya as to be very good no, in certain procedures like gynecologic surgery, maganda siya. Saka prostatic surgery, no? Yung radical prostatectomy for prostatic cancer, maganda siya, no? Kasi ang view mo sa robotic is 3D, tapos malapit, no? Kasi naka-zoom. Tapos kasi sa prostatic surgery, ang pinaka-common complication after surgery, sabi sa lalaki siya, nakaprostate.
Kung ilaban ako.
They will lose an erection, no? Siguro importante siya for men, definitely, di ba? May kanta nga, losing my religion, pero losing my erection, wala. So, ganun sa ka-importante. So, Very good siya, no? Kaya lang, medyo mahal talaga siya, no? And recently, siguro mga 5 years ago or more, no? Meron sila na-develop na FlexDex MAS system. Ang capability niya is just like a robotic surgery, no? Pero hindi ko alam kung mahal rin kasi siya eh. Kasi alala ko, ang isang ganito, this is disposable. Parang range from 35 to 50,000 ito. Single use. So medyo mahal rin siya. No? Pero ang movement niya, parang sa robotic surgery. Okay? So, any questions? Okay, so please read the chapter, okay? Okay, thank you.
Parang first time talaga nakalipas.